Shalom. And I want to start off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Wadesh. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders, the great millstone, and salutations to you, Akim, that's out there listening, pushing forward this word with truth and sincerity, and you few Akot as well, that's listening with sincerity. I'm the brother Machaya from the Camp GMS Montreal, coming back with another lesson. And in this one, it's going to be about how that America, aka Babylon, can never be a righteous place. Okay? The reason why I'm saying this is because what? We know that America, which is the headquarters of wickedness, is being run by who? None other than Esau Edom himself. Okay? Which is the wicked in the Bible. Right? So let's start with Job 9, man. Alright? Because currently right now we know who's running the world. We know who the Lord gave the throne unto in this present world. Let's prove that. Let's back that up with Job 9 and verse 24. It says, "The earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" So clearly you can see here it says what? The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Okay, and who's the wicked? Esau, Edom. Okay, the so-called white man. All right, mass majority of them, they're descendants of Edom. But focusing on the ruling class, which is the top making families, you know, your Rothschild, Oppenheimers, so on and so forth, they're the ones that's on the throne right now. Okay? The earth is given to their hands, so therefore they're gonna push forth a wicked vibration towards the people. Okay? Right? Because here it is. Hey, Esau, he has the Bible. Alright? He has the Bible, he has the laws. Matter of fact, he has more books than us. He has, you know, certain books in the Vatican that we never read, but he knows them. But does he choose to establish righteousness on the earth? No. You know? Because ultimately, he wasn't created to bring forth righteousness. Okay? Let's get this in Isaiah 26. All right? Because like it says here, we're going to read, right? Isaiah 26 and verse 10, it says, "Let favor be shown to the wicked," which is Esau, Edom. All right? Malachi 1 and 4. You can read that. You know what? Matter of fact, let's get that. I should have got that right after Job because, that's the 1-2 combo. Let's get Malachi 1 and 4. We're going to go back to Isaiah 26. It's the book of Malachi 1 and verse 4. It says, "Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever." Okay, indignation going to righteous anger. Okay, so the Lord is perpetually angry with these group of people, this nation of people. Okay, but the point that I wanted to get from this precept is the fact that it says what? Esau Edom is the border of wickedness. Okay, meaning he's the beginning of it. Right? We brought that at camp last time. Right? The brother brought that out, the brother Napash, the head of our camp, of how that, a border is basically whenever you go to the city, right, you arrive at the borders first and foremost. Right? The beginning of the city. Okay, you cross this border, now you have the United States. Right? So in other words, the beginning of them, as soon as you enter their borders, it's wickedness, man. Okay? They are the borders of wickedness. They bring forth wickedness. That's why, once again, America can never be a righteous place. That's why in the scriptures, when King David prophesied about America, what did he say in Psalms 23? The valley of the shadow of death. Okay, valley being going into what? Lowland, right? Okay, America is low. There's low morale. There's no integrity. It's only wickedness, man. It's a low land. Okay? Matter of fact, all these nations, they make fun of America, man. Of how that the people, they're dumb, they're stupid, they're bugged out. Because what? Hey, wickedness is being spread throughout America. That's the hub. Okay? So righteousness could never flourish from there, man. Okay? The only angst of righteousness you're going to find in Babylon or America is actually the men of the Lord. That's the only glance glance, may I say, of righteousness that you're gonna find. That little grain that you're gonna find of righteousness. After that, outside of that, man, it's all completely polluted and filth. Okay, so back to Isaiah 26 and verse 10. It says, "Let favor be shown to the wicked, and reproof is the wicked." Right, Esau, Edom. Yet will he not learn righteousness, and the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord. You see? So favor is currently being shown to him right now, because once again, he has the rulership. The earth is given to his hand. Is he learning righteousness? Okay. Is he putting forth the laws as the law of the land? Okay. Are people being put to death for for not following certain laws? Like for instance, we know the alphabet. LBGTQ, PS4, PS5, right? You know that. Does he follow the laws and set these creatures as an example of what not to do? No. Matter of fact, he gives them rights. He extols them. He puts them in his movies and his TV shows to indoctrinate and pollute the minds of the next generation. Every show now that you watch, every movie, there has to be a flamer in there, man. Is that him learning the ways of righteousness? No, that's him spewing his madness upon the people, man. Okay, and like the scripture says, here it is. He's in the land of uprightness, which is our land, the land of Israel. Right? You got the small hats up in there. Are they following the laws? No. Matter of fact, they have one of the biggest flamer parades over there, man. Okay, in Tel Aviv, they have one of the biggest flamer parades there. Is that following the laws? Matter of fact, not even that. They created their own book too, the Talmud, which is completely filled with madness. Okay, all things that's contrary to the scriptures. Is that following the ways of the Lord? Is that promoting righteousness? No. You see? So that place, Babylon, aka America, can never be righteous. Okay? That's why the only solution that the Lord has for that place is for it to be what? To be immersed in fire and eventually become a desert. That's the only way. Okay? Because righteousness does not come from that land outside of the prophets. Okay? That's just how it is. You know? Let's get this as well in the Apocrypha, in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, uh, the 10th chapter and verse 2. It says, "As the judge of the people." You know what? Let's read verse 1. As Ecclesiasticus 10 and verse 1. "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein." So it's clearly telling you here that whoever the ruler is of a particular city, the people are going to follow his vibration. Okay? And once again, the earth is being run by the wicked. Therefore, the earth is in a wicked vibration, especially in America. Okay? That's why the Babylonians, outside of the men of the Lord, of course, they're completely wicked. They're completely left. They're completely engulfed in folly. You know? So, man, the evidence is in the pudding, man. That place can never be righteous. Even though Esau, he has the ability to bring forth righteousness. He has the ability to change things and make it to where that life is better. Okay, it's not gonna be like the kingdom, but life could be better. But no, he wasn't framed like that. Therefore, he's gonna oppress the people. Okay, and make the people mourn, like it says in Proverbs 29 and 2, man. Okay, because that's just the devil that he is, man. He's not accustomed to do good, right? Oh, let's get that too. Um, evil, cuss. Is it like that? Oops. Damn, how do you write a cuss? So, God damn. Bear with me for a minute. Man. I'll just uh, neither. Bear with me. Leopard changes spots. Yeah, it's leopard changes spots. There we go. Change. There we go. Oh, it's two C's are custom. Yeah, Jake's grammar, man. Anyways, let's continue. This is Isaiah, Jeremiah 13 and verse 23. It says, "Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil." Okay? And clearly we know that the leopard cannot change his spots. The Ethiopian cannot change his skin. So, those that were created to do evil, they can't do good. They can only bring forth evil, bring forth wicked fruits. Right? As scripture said, a tree may be known by its fruits, man. And Esau, the only thing he's producing is wicked fruits. So therefore, the rulership, that he has established, by spreading forth, by spreading innocent blood, by stealing lands, it can never be a right place. That's why let's get numbers. And the only way for righteousness to come forth is by that place being cleansed by the blood of those that shed it. Like it says in Numbers 35 and verse 33. It says, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye dwell. Wherein ye are, with blood. It defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of them that shed it." You see? So the only way for America to be cleansed of its wickedness is by what? Esau being put to death, and ultimately fire coming down in America too. Because we know, according to prophecy, that place will not be inhabited. Okay? It's going to be an example of what happens when you do wickedness. Okay? Just like Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I'm saying? It's set forth as an example, but this one is going to be a perpetual example. Okay? To where people are going to see it on the map out of no man's land. This is what the Lord did once, at once upon a time, people were being rebellious. That was their recompense. You see? Yeah, man. If anything, the only time where righteousness is going to flourish is when wickedness is uprooted. Let's finish with that in 2nd Ezra. It says, the seed must be put out, and then for faith to come out and flourish. The book of 2nd Ezra 6 and in verse 27, it says, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared." Okay? So, hey, the only way for faith to flourish, for the truth to bring forth fruit, is for evil and deceit to be put out. Okay? And we're in the stage where, hey, the truth is being flourished. Faith is flourishing. The truth is bringing forth fruit. And as time goes on, it's only going to increase to where that, hey, the kingdom's going to be established, and all deceit, all evil, all corruption is going to be put out, man. Okay? But hey, I'm going to close it off there by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Wachach Kodesh. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next time, I'm going to say, Shalom.